might have thought that, and I'm like, ooh. Okay, we started. Hello. You missed
Hi
some stuff.
there. My name is John Welker. I am substituting for Hawk Robinson, who is the president of RPG Features. I'm the vice president. I will be tonight's dungeon master. I am sorry for the delay. I actually thought we were broadcasting, and we weren't. I'm blaming Dan because he just walked in the door.
I'll take full credit for it.
Yep.
We were waiting for him.
We have a perfect size group, 3 players. We're going to do Adventures in Middle Earth. You are more than a half a person.
Not today.
This one's been run for you to learn from, remember?
I understand that.
Okay, so I gotta need your focus a little.
I'm trying. I just feel like, I went around with Tyson after insulting one of his pigeons.
That was not a good choice.
Yeah.
So, today we are going to work on Adventures in Middle Earth. As I said, my name is John Wilker. I will be the Dungeon Master today. We're going to talk about a little bit about Dungeon Master prep, and then we're going to actually run the game. This is a learning game for our players. Some of them have never played Adventures in Middle Earth, and one just needs an extra run through so he can eventually run the game himself in the wild, as they say. We're going to talk first a little bit about DM prep, and then a couple of the changes of the rules from 5th edition to Adventures in Middle Earth, including a rule that was written by me and Hawk for the purposes of adding a rule from Tor, the One Ring role-playing game, into Adventures in Middle Earth, because for some reason it didn't get adapted over, and we figured out how to make it work. Meanwhile, while I'm blabbering away, first of all, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you're playing if you haven't if you have chosen your character.
And if I haven't chosen my character?
Then you should identify yourself and then start looking for your character.
Okay. Huh?
Are you deciding against that?
If you would like, it's yours.
I am Riley.
Okay, I only request that you, a person who's played before, do not play a character you have played before.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. The other people, it's going to be really easy to pick a character they never played before, since that goes for all of them. So, go ahead. Introduce who you are and what you do with RPG research.
I'm Riley. I'm a archetype specialist, which helps train the GMs to deal with maybe some problem players, someone who might go too far or have really, I don't know, just make the game tougher for everyone, including the GM and the other players. So I'm
More
there.
challenging.
Yeah, I'm there to help them learn how to deal with me, basically.
Have you watched Psychology at the Table?
No.
I highly recommend you do, because it definitely deals with not only archetypes, but diagnosis.
Okay.
So if somebody has a particular diagnosis, how the DM should deal with it, well, you get an idea from that things, what the kind of diagnoses might present like.
Okay.
Just a thought. All right, and the next person in line. Yes!
That's me! My name is James, and I am a real-time artist on Sundays with the Hero of the Mist D&D campaign. That's what I do.
And what that means is that while the game is playing, he's drawing pictures of what's happening in real time. Makes the combat scenes really interesting because he has to keep erasing and adding injuries. No, I'm just kidding. And
My name is Daniel Ivy. I am a game master in training. I also do some of the behind-the-scenes stuff during Heroes of the Mist, and I'm one of the artists who preps the reference art for our real-time artists. I do a bunch of other things, a lot of grunt work, and sometimes coming in late to take the blame.
yes, the blame you're taking today, though, is a logical one because we're just blaming you for showing up late.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can't get more logical than that. Anyways, on to our next and wonderful part of the show. We're going to talk about the things I did to prep for this module. First of all, I read the module. And after I'm done reading through the module, I make lists of, you read it once for fun. Then you read it through again for details. The first time I read it through details, I'm looking for what monsters there are. And that way I can pick out the proper miniatures. I can make these little tents, 2 of them, because we're 2 tents. Anyways, sorry for the joke. I make these little sheets. I make them for each of the pre-generated characters. If I'm not doing a module that has pre-generated characters and I can't make these in advance, on session 0, I have the players fill them out themselves. Or if I'm in a convention, I try to get them to do it real quick, just the basic information. Probably skip the drawing on a convention thing unless people feel that they can do one real quick. Every one of these ones here across the screen, which you can probably not see with any things, has a little drawing of a particular character. I used to have a screen pointed at me.
Well, it's the...
Both of those.
Okay. See, there's a drawing that a player has done. Here's a drawing that I did. There are different styles, and it's completely irrelevant which style you decide to use. Some people will do just quick drawings. I know this looks like I'm showing you a blank piece of paper, but trust me, there is a drawing on that somewhere.
Maybe better to pull it back a bit.
And it disappears entirely. Anyways, I promise there's a picture on there. On the back sides of these are character details. It's a miniature character sheet. I do that for both the player characters and the monsters, so I have quick references of data. Just to show you a quick reference from the type of data that I do for the monsters. There's a monster character sheet. I do them on the computer so they're printed out and easier for me to read. I do apply a drawing on the opposite side so the characters can see it. I make sure I gather up all the miniatures I need. I have to always remember that sometimes how many miniatures I need. For example, if a scenes will have between this many and that many, depending on how big the party is. So I have to bring enough miniatures to account for the largest possible party. We try to keep a party between 3 and 7 players total. 7 is really pushing it. I have 7 pre-generated characters for this particular module, 7 pre-generated miniatures picked out for this module. There's actually an 8th miniature because one of the characters comes with a dog. I also read through and gather up spells. I will make a spell book for each of the characters, or I will use something like this, which is the spell cards from Wizards of the Coast. Gale Force 9 is the one that actually printed these out. Those are quite useful for quick references, so you're not looking through the books constantly. I use the maps that I have been collecting over the years. Occasionally, as you can see, the one that's underneath it, we have maps that you have to draw your own maps. If I have to draw my own maps, I prefer to pre-do them. What I really like to do, if I'm doing something I don't have a map like this already set up for, is I print out maps in sections. So like if you're in a dungeon maze, I can only show you what you can see, and you don't see everything at once. Today's maps are going to be pretty simple because this is an introductory module, and it doesn't need to be very complex. Other things I use are my Dungeon Master screens. I've actually got a couple different ones here. One for Adventures in Middle-earth, one for regular D&D. And again, it's using the regular D&D ones along with the core rules for 5th edition, because Adventures in Middle-earth is another layer on top of 5th edition. which is why when I hand out the pre-generated characters, can you hand me one of the character packets? Any of them will do. The first page on the character sheet is the ones that came with the module, and I don't let people write on those. So I have a second character sheet in there that they can actually do their writing on. Then I have a rule that I wrote along with Hawk Robinson, this one, so that we will discuss this. These are available online, you can find them. And there's the rules changes in brief, which explains how Adventures in Middle-earth are different than D&D 5th edition. And a map of the area is on the back page of that, so the characters all have that. I have displayed on my poster that's behind me, and more than likely invisible to everybody here is a nice map of the area on the big screen there. So, I prepped all my spells, I prepped my monsters, I've read the things, I've looked up any additional rules that seem to be, that aren't normally used, like underwater combat, if the module calls for that. In the case of underwater combat, what I've done is I made a little printout of it. Again, you guys know we can see what I do here. So I made a little card there. I printed it out and I stuck it inside the screen, so I have a quick access to that particular rule because I'm using that. I make sure that I have my dice tower for myself because I like it. I have, because I run games at conventions and at places games happen and people may or not have been playing ever before, I keep about 30 sets of dice that people can borrow along with pencils.
Speaking of which, may I borrow a set?
Yes, that's why they're here. And there's also pencils available in this one if anybody needs them.
Oh, no, that's different.
Okay. Can you pass me pencils? E-pencil? Thank you.
Did I leave anything else that I prepped? I use tokens for spell effects and for miniatures. Now miniatures don't have to be 3D printed, painted miniatures. You can paint your own. You can also use flat tokens like this. Again, something nobody can really see.
Flask.
Yeah.
Still don't put that away.
I thought we put that away already. They could be just a piece of paper. They could be Skittles. You know, if I kill a character, I get to eat their chocolate piece.
No, I'd eat my chocolate piece.
You guys get to eat an M&M if you kill the orc. Whatever.
Ah.
I don't use those. I've used Legos. I've used flat paper minis. Both the stand-up kind and the flat tokens that lie on the ground. And of course, there's always theater of the mind. No maps, no minis. Just I describe what it is, and you have to remember what I told you. Theater of the mind does have some advantages. It's faster. It's cheaper. And if you're playing fair and your players trust you, then that will be a problem. So, while people are still choosing out their characters, let me read rules changes in brief, unless somebody else would like to read those out loud and give my voice a break.
I'll read them.
Okay, you pick your character? Who's your character, by the way?
I believe his name is Sirkmar.
Okay. And Sirkmar is, or Krimakar is a half-elf.
He's a half-elf? I thought he was, he's a high elf.
High elf. Why does it say half-elf? He's not a warden?
He's a high elf warden.
Yeah, high elf warden. I don't know why somebody wrote half elf on his character sheet, but so we know it's a high elf. So I got that one. Have you picked your character?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Corinthiel.
Corinthiel. We're having a mostly elf party. 2 out of 3 characters will be elves. And what are you playing?
Trotter.
Trotter. You're the halfling.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to help me a lot because now I don't need to clutter up the screen with a bunch of characters that aren't being played. By the way, if he had chosen, or if anybody had chosen the bride comes with Yoji, who is a beast, a dog, that can help with combat.
A good boy.
He's a good boy. Who's a good boy? You are tearing out that goblin's throat.
Aww, so cute.
Oh, cute. He's... Never mind. So go ahead and read the rules changes in brief. This is for any of you who have played 5th edition but have not played Adventures in Middle-earth.
Okay. Combat. Combat rules remain unchanged from the core 5th edition rules. All characters' abilities are on their character sheets. It is recommended that you look them over so that there aren't any big surprises there. Alignment and corruption. Alignment is not used. All characters in Adventures of Middle-earth are intended to be, broadly speaking, good. When they encounter evil, they fight it. However, the shadow is always a temptation, always a risk. Adventures in Middle-earth features a new corruption system. Characters gain shadow points for experiencing distressing events. Anguish. Crossing or dwelling in an area tainted by manifestations of the shadow, blighted places. Committing despicable or dishonorable acts, misdeeds. This may occur in this scenario. Feel free to give the players a shadow point whenever they commit a misdeed. Taking possession of a cursed or tainted item or treasure, tainted treasure. In this scenario, there won't be time for shadow points to take their full effect, but everyone should be aware that getting too many is a bad thing, and can lead to a player losing control of their character, and eventually being forced to retire the character altogether.
Keep reading, I'm just going to separate the miniatures that nobody's using.
Okay. Virtues. Player heroes have access to a series of powers called virtues. These work similarly to feats. They are often powered by spending hit dice or inspiration. Journeys. The Adventures of Middle-earth Journeys rules creates a sequence of bonuses, penalties, and engaging Middle-earth events that make traveling great distances engaging, challenging, and interesting, while increasing the feeling of being in the setting. This adventure sets out a cut-down version of the full journey system, which will give your players a feel of how it works. Audiences. When player heroes in Middle-earth encounter one of the great, powerful, or wise, it is well to go about it in the proper way. Adventures in Middle-earth presents a system for determining the response of significant characters that player heroes meet along the way. New skills. Players in Adventures of Middle-earth have access to a few setting-specific skills. Some hard to come by, some near essential. Riddle. An accepted custom among many creatures, speaking in riddles is usually allowed among strangers meeting for the first time who want to speak guardedly. Use intelligence riddle checks to discuss a subject while concealing part of what you know, such as when explaining something about yourself without revealing your true identity. This skill is also used to gain helpful insight into spoken or written riddles. Lore. Your intelligence lore check measures your ability to recall unusual or obscure information about old legends, ancient war gear, bits of song, rare artifacts, and the reading of runes. Lore replaces Arcana skill. Magic is an imprecise term for folk who use it to describe both the blessing of the elves and the deceit of the enemy. Shadow lore. A dark branch of knowledge. Intelligence shadow lore checks allow you to share what you've learned about the ways of the enemy and the various creatures that stalk through the dark parts of Middle-earth. Where lore deals with the past, shadow lore deals with the present and the rising threat of the enemy's many minions. Tradition. Your intelligence tradition checks measures your ability to recall the proper courtesies and etiquette expected by the various free folk cultures, along with some of their stories about their people and their respective histories. An intelligence tradition ability check is used whenever you wish to gain an audience with someone of influence. Traditions also covers the knowledge of such religion as exists in Middle-earth.
Which there isn't that much of in Middle-earth that I can see. Hawk could probably talk a lot better about what religion is like in Middle-earth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So a rule that we added over here is fellowship focus. This is from the One Ring role-playing game, adapted to Adventures in Middle-earth by Hawk Rumson and John Wilker of RPG Therapeutics, LLC. Overview. Mayagovic. One of the many great features of Cubicle 7's The One Ring role-playing game, ttrpg, is the fellowship focus. Unfortunately, the authors of the D&D/Die-20 adaptation Adventures in Middle-earth for some reason left out those group bonding encouraging mechanics. It kept the shadow points, which are important for behavioral modification, but didn't do the fellowship focus. If you would like to include fellowship focus in AIME with a minimum of changes without having to add the hope point system from Tor and overhaul the inspiration rules, you can try these rules we have proposed and are game testing. Welcome your feedback, Namare. Hawk needs to be speaking Elvish, not me. I speak Clunk. Alright, fellowship focus. Fellowship focus represents the strong ties between brothers in arms, close kinsmen, and compatriots. Fellowship focus has two effects in gameplay as sources of hope or sources of inspiration. As a source of hope, the presence of a fellowship focus affects the way a character recovers hope. A player hero may attempt to remove one shadow point at the end of a session if his fellowship focus didn't become wounded, poisoned, miserable, or was harmed in any other way the lore master considers serious, such as imprisoned by orcs during the play, and at the same location as them. This is very hard to do. To have the person that is your fellowship focus not get hurt at all is pretty rough. A player hero wishing to remove their corruption may make a DC 13 Wisdom Insight ability check. If successful, they remove one shadow point. If their ability checks result in a total of 25 or more, they remove 2 shadow points. Permanent shadow points gained when suffering of a bout of madness can never be healed. A character gaining 1 point of shadow at the end of the session if his fellowship focus was wounded, or 3 points if the focus was killed. So you gain shadow, that's pretty easy. You get too much shadow and you need to get as much shadow as you have wisdom. So if you have a 13 wisdom, 13 shadow points, you're in trouble. But you can lose control of your character temporarily or permanently, depending on how many shadow points you gain. As a source of inspiration, a successful keeping of the fellowship focus safe might inspire a character so much that it lets him recover spent inspiration. If a player spends an inspiration point to gain advantage to accomplish an action that can be considered to directly protect or favor his fellowship focus and succeeds, he immediately recovers the inspiration point he just spent. Normally, you can only have one inspiration point at a time. You spend it, and you have to do something incredible for the DM to go, oh, yeah, you get it back. In this case, you can get your inspiration point right back if what you did is an immediate effect for the person that is your fellowship focus. In addition, a player may spend an inspiration point on his fellowship focus to directly grant advantage to or combat the miserable condition, as if the fellowship focus had spent their own. So you're going to have to roll to prevent yourself from being miserable. I can immediately give you inspiration so that you don't have to spend your own inspiration. You just spent mine. Note, inspiration points cannot be spent to trigger another player's special abilities. There are special abilities within Adventures in Middle-earth that you have to use inspiration to gain or to do. So, now that you guys know what fellowship focus is, you should pick who among you is the other person's fellowship focus. Now, there's 3 of you, so somebody is going to get picked twice.
Not necessarily.
No, we can do a...
Yeah, you can do a triangle.
You can do a triangle.
A lot of times it's the 2 elves will pick each other, and then the halfling will pick one of the elves. But you could each one. You don't have to the person that you're the fellowship focus of doesn't have to focus on you back. You know, that's just how relations work.
That's uncomfortable.
A little too close to home? What?
So we have to have a fellowship focus, correct?
With Hawks and my rule, yes.
Okay.
In a standard game, Adventures in Middle-earth, you won't even know these rules exist. Except you just watched this episode, so now you do, and now you're required to play with them. Right? Isn't that how it works?
That sounds about right.
Okay.
Did you put up the disclaimer? That if they continue watching that, they're going to have to use these rules?
No, if they continue playing any game at all, they have to use these rules. It's going to be the weirdest game of checkers ever. All right, so everybody's got their characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and decide on your fellowship focus while I prep myself to start.
We
Wow,
did it.
There we go.
All right,
So good.
now the hard part. You have to actually tell me.
No, we don't.
Yes, you.
Secret.
My fellowship focus is Creamancer. What's your name again?
Krimakar.
Krimakar. I couldn't read it.
I thought it was a soft C, but I guess it's a
It
hard
could have
C.
been Srimakar. Srimakar. And there's an
Krimasar.
M there. Srimakar. Srimasar. Srimasar.
Krimasar.
Krimasar. You choose. It's your name. Karen
My name.
Thiel is the other-
Simmercar. Simmercar.
You're Simakar?
Simmercar.
Okay.
Like scimitar.
Simakar. Cool.
So, Karen Thiel has picked Simakar.
Mm-hmm.
Who has Simakar picked?
Trotter.
Trotter. And who has Trotter picked?
Caranthiel.
Karen Thiel. All right. It's an awkward triangle.
Ooh.
Now, on the character sheets,
Can I ask how come we
there's
have?
one field two. What?
Can we ask how come we have two of the same?
Yes. As I was mentioning before when I was explaining why I handed these out,
One is
the first one.
Oh, right. Okay. So we can draw on this one, just not this one.
Right.
Okay,
Don't draw
okay,
on my
okay.
pretty one.
That makes sense.
You don't have a pretty one, so you can draw on it.
I don't have a pretty one?
No.
Okay.
Because yours actually didn't come from this set.
Ooh. Spooky.
Yours came from the Rivendell. So there are 7 pre-generated characters in existence for Adventure Middle Earth right now. Official pre-generated characters. And so because I have it, I've introduced it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
I've
So
come a
did
long
you
way.
agree?
Yeah.
Yes, you're a high elf from
It
Rivendell.
doesn't stop rolling, especially on a slanted table.
Hmm.
5 years have passed since the events of The Hobbit. We find ourselves in the Wilderness, or Rohavinion, the region of Middle-earth east of the Misty Mountains and north of Gondor. It includes Lake Town, Erebor, the Lonely Mountain, the newly built Dale, Rostabale, Woodsman Town, Fandol's Halls, and the dark vastness of Mirkwood itself. Wilderland has a huge amount of territory and places familiar and strange to explore. The dragon Smog is dead. Slain by the Bard the Bowman, and now King Bard of Dale, people all across Wilderlands are finding new hope for the future. Trade routes are reopening, and the free folk of Wilderland are beginning to get to know one another again. As players, we know that a time of great strife is just generation away. A shadow is deepening in the south of Mirkwood. But for now, it's a time of great exploration and discovery. A time to sally forth in search of adventure!
Yay.
All right. So, there's a little thing in here about each of the pre-generated characters. Karen Thiel, Elf of Mirkwood Scholar. Having heard about her ancestors who fought against the Shadow, Karen Thiel's ventured out into the wider Mirkwood. She has found much that troubles her, and she seeks to learn more about the Shadow and how it can be defeated. Why Karen Thiel begins the game at Woodsman Town? You have of late wandered the elf paths of Mirkwood, finally reaching Woodsman Town. There you heard of Bard's proclamation and now seek to travel to Lake Town. Seems like an ideal opportunity to learn more of the wider world. Trotter, after meeting with Gandalf the Conjurer as a party in the Shire, Trotter took to the road in search of the Grey Wanderer. Unlike most of his people, he longs to see all the sights the Middle-earth has to offer. You have spent a year working your way eastwards. King Bard summons reached you in Old Ford, and you have resolved to head to Lake Town. You dropped into Woodsman Town to resupply before heading onward. Car doesn't have one of these descriptions, so you may have to read the one that's on the front of your sheet.
You have dwelt in Ilmadris since its founding, leaving only once in your long years when the Gilgalad called all banners to him. The last alliance of elves and men stormed the black land of Mordor. Those dark times rarely leave your thoughts, even in a place so fair as the hidden valley of Rivendell. You will not suffer to see the world plunged into such darkness again. With the permission of Lord Elrond, you have set forth upon the wild to learn more of the designs of the shadow, and to do what's in your strength to resist them, so that none of the free folk of Middle-earth will have to endure such terrors again.
Alright, for an excuse for you being Woodsman Town, you're on your way to Rivendell with a letter of introduction to the king, and
I was told to meet her.
And you're told to meet her. Works for me.
Yeah.
Why does this not open it? It's almost like they have a lock on these things. You have to make it go both ways. Alright, who's smarter than I am? So I need that open.
I'll try it.
Are you trying to... that wouldn't have to be Pandora's box, would it?
No, there's just some cough drops in there.
Oh, okay.
I really want my cough drops.
Wait, I don't really.
I'm pretty sure you have to push in and then lift, but I'm not doing it.
Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can get this one. Okay. So you just put
See?
it
Yeah.
up.
No, in this way, then up.
Like that.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
There we go.
It's just a simple latch. It's not a combination lock, for gosh sakes.
The combination lock can be easier.
Yeah, combination lock is a bit easier to get into. Alright, our fellowship of would-be heroes meet in Woodsman Town, a small but thriving settlement under the gloomy eaves of Mirkwood. It is spring and the town is waking from winter. Men and women drag rugs and blankets outside and beat the winter's dust out of them. Knee-deep ashes from the fires kept burning all season long are cleared from the hearths, and the collection of firewood for next year begins. The town is a safe refuge in a sea of dark and threatening woods. But the slow pace of life among the woodsmen has made our heroes restless. All are keen to find traveling companions and head out in the wider world. The companions meet on the grassy sward of the market green. Above the green, atop the central hill of the woodsman town, all can see the richly decorated great hall. Inside it, the legendary lamp of Balathi is kept safe, the greatest treasure of the woodsman. On the market green, the occasional traveling merchant lays out their goods. Pig and sheep herders drive their animals into pens. Tradesmen meet to buy materials and sell their wares, and the local gossips gather to trade tales. The dusty river that runs to the east of the town is still swollen with the meltwater of the mountains of the Mirkwood. On a couple of jetties that poke out into the river, fisher folk mend their nets, carve out new log boats, and tar their coracles in readiness for the fishing season to begin. And here is a nice picture, if I can get it on any of the screens.
It's green screened.
There you go.
Green.
That's Woodsman Town.
Cool.
An old guy named Heva sits on the edge of the market green on a carved log stool. She is known to be a veteran traveler and leads logging parties into the forest. A handful of children, freed from their chores, chase a wooden ball with sticks around the open area of the town. Elders shout at them to stay inside the stockade, warning them, "You'll be eaten by spiders if they stray." Giant spiders are rarely dared to cross the dusky river, but one does not grow old in Mirkwood without learning caution. The walls of Woodman Town are built from a palisade of stout logs, sharpened to the top. Bunches of fragrant herbs can be seen hanging from the walls to ward off evil influence. The palisade is a mixture of very ancient, moss-covered sections and much newer, freshly cut and erected logs. The houses in Woodman Town are all rectangular longhouses with sloping shingled roofs that reach almost to the ground. The inner palisade around the waist of the hill, which is home to the great hall of the Elder Council's Hall, only those with business in the hill are allowed into the inner palisade. Well-trained working dogs can be seen around the Woodsman Town. Woodsmen, being masters of hounds that are kenneled in the north in the settlement, watch for any threat from the forest. Occasionally excited bark can be heard, but no howls warn of danger. There is Odo, a shepherd who sells dried mutton as well as fresher meat. There is Amelia, a merchant from the mountain hall, selling axe heads and iron pegs. Old Ingrid, she's a charcoal burner, trading bundles of charcoal in a variety of sizes. She has a one-legged stool. And Barld, a rotund, shaggy-haired woodcarver, sits on the patterned blanket, carving wooden talismans. Who would you like to visit? Or what kind of preparations would you like to take before you decide to go traveling?
Doesn't look like I have any food. So we should probably...
There's no rations?
Does not look like I have any. No.
Okay.
What was the description of the lady with the one-legged stool?
Old Ingrid, charcoal burning. Would you like to go up and talk to her?
Yeah.
Old England, mothers to herself of spiders and eyes and goblins. Would you like to give me a DC 10 intelligence riddle check, please?
DC 10, you're going to roll the D20.
Oh.
Yeah. 10 is just what you're trying to meet or exceed.
A 1!
A 1. You're pretty sure she's mumbling something about mumbling. And words and such.
Okay.
Now, a little note about charcoal burners is that a charcoal burner is a person who burns wood to make it into charcoal. They use very, very large ovens, and they can be dangerous because they have to burn for more than 24 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's your job to be watching the charcoal, you get to sit on a stool that only has one leg.
So you don't fall asleep?
You're correct.
Nice.
You fall asleep, the stool is going to go over. Anybody else like to talk to anybody?
Hang out with the person who's selling meat.
Sure. Yeah. Business up north. The death of the dragon. Cause all sorts of bother across the woodlands. Yeah, folks are traveling again. But I don't like it. All this friendship and trade. Strange folks bring trouble. They just don't know the way of the woods.
But don't they also bring business?
I got plenty of business here. Speaking of which, you want to buy some mutton?
I would love to buy some mutton.
All right. How much would you want to get for me?
How much does it cost?
It cost? That's a good question. We don't normally deal with coin around here. We like to trade something.
Okay.
Like, maybe if you could get me an axe head or...
Or an axe head?
Sure.
Okay.
An axe head, do it. I'll give you 3 days of rations for a couple axes.
Okay. Can I walk to the person who's selling axes?
Amelia, a merchant from Mount Hall, is selling axe heads and iron pegs. She laughs at Odo's dour complaints and praises the Bjornings who now watch over Old Ford across the great river and keeps travelers safe. So, how can I help you?
I'm looking to take a couple of those axe heads off you.
Well, fine, sure. What do you got to trade?
Well, what are you looking for? What do I have to trade? Something like that. Shoot, I don't have anything to start out with. I'd probably. I have a couple of arrows. I don't know exactly what.
Well, who are you getting these axes for? You need these axes just for yourself?
No, I'm looking to make a deal with someone I've met recently.
Is it Odo?
Maybe.
Well, you know Odo is going to want to have a full axe.
Uh-huh.
Not just the head. Because I don't know if you've ever tried this, but swinging just the axe head is a lot of work.
I can see that.
So, I would go talk to Barlin, and I'd get him to carve you up some handles. You bring me the handles, 5 handles, I'll let you keep 2 of them
Okay.
for the axe heads that you're taking. That sound fair?
That sounds fair.
All right. Anybody else like to do anything?
I want to use Everwatchful. Spend a few hours traveling and talking with locals to make a DC 12 intelligence investigation check with advantage. Success means that you know news, rumors, and important individuals. Failure means you know some, but don't know what is true.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Natural 1,
Okay.
but it's with advantage.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
16.
All right. You know that Heva is somebody that you should really talk to before making any plans for your travel.
Okay.
You also know that the spiders in the Mirkwood will eat your horse. They're that big.
Okay.
It's not a whole bunch of spiders eating your horse. It's one spider takes off your horse while you sit there going, pretty glad that wasn't me. Oh no, here comes another spider. Ah!
Mm-hmm.
And spiders can talk.
I have an ability, News from Afar.
Mm-hmm.
You start the adventuring phase knowing events of important and rumors. And there's a little bit more, but...
Okay. So, you know about Dale, the King of Dale, Bard, who is the King of Dale, is asking all the heroes to come to him and to help re-civilize the lands around and help get trade and stuff, things going like that.
And so, you said it was 3 years after the events of
5.
The Hobbit? 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lake Town is fully rebuilt?
Mostly.
Mostly rebuilt, okay.
Takes a long time to build when you don't have machinery.
Would that mean that Smog has been dead for 5 years?
Yes,
Okay.
Smog is dead 5 years.
Okay.
If you go up to Lake Town in the lake, you can actually see his bones on a clear day. In the lake.
In the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Anybody else?
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to go talk to Heva.
Okay.
Are we meandering around together? Or are we going
That's
to
up
people
to
separately?
you. But, I mean, you probably should be doing things together.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what are you doing? Are you
I'm going to the person who carves wood into
Okay.
handles.
Let's deal with the woodcarver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bartran's a rotund, shaggy-haired woodcarver sitting on a patterned blanket, carving wooden talismans. So, how can I help you?
I was looking for to get some handles from you.
Some handles? What kind of handles? A
Um,
rake?
Axe handles.
Oh, axe handles. I
Yeah.
can do that. How many would you like to get?
I'll take 5.
5. That's very good. So, and what are you offering?
I have some silver. I don't know if you'll take it.
You don't got much use for silver. Occasionally take a piece of silver and put it in the eyes of one of my carvings, and he shows you this wooden talisman of a wolf's head.
I want that. I will trade you a necklace,
But you're with
sir.
me.
And it's made of heartwood, too.
But you're with me.
I thought we were together.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
he's
we-
separate.
I thought we sort of agreed that we were.
Now, you guys
All
all
going
three
to the
together at
guy.
one time, or did you two go off by yourselves?
That's what I thought was happening.
Okay, fine. I will be there.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's your focus?
This guy.
So you know that guy
The-
might like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, sorry, this gal.
Yeah, because you are what's the word? You focus on them, so
Okay.
you would know a little about what kind of preferences, and you think that this would be
Okay.
Okay.
One of my friends would really. That looks like something my friend would really enjoy.
Well, I definitely recommend it. If carried by the guide on a journey, it could help provide protection.
Okay.
But what did you say you had to offer me? Because I don't really need any silver.
Yeah. I have this nice traveling cloak. It's even fur lined. I know that you probably don't travel as much as an adventurer, but
Yes,
you still
yes.
might need it.
I've got one.
Okay.
But you know what I could use?
Ooh, what could
Some
you?
elk.
Okay.
You go out and get me an elk. I will give you the talisman and the axe candles.
Okay. I can do with that deal.
I'll even go one better. I'll give you 7 handles.
Ooh.
Do we have a deal?
Sure.
All right. Sounds good. Now, you Hebel lovers. Gotta find where it says have a says. The fastest and safest route, which I resoundingly recommend, is to go westward out of the eaves of the forest, and then northward to the forest gate, where the elf path begins its winding course.
Said go west, then north.
Yep, it says westward out of the eaves of the forest. So if you were to look at this map there, you'll see your map on the papers I hand you. We're in Woodswood Town here. Said westward, come up north to the forest gate, and then cross along the elf path.
Mm-hmm.
Travel in the forest is slow and dangerous, but beyond its reach, going is much easier. Game and fresh water are more plentiful. Now, anyone in Woodsman Town, indeed common sense can tell you, Mirkwood is widely feared and with good reason. Even an elf of Mirkwood like Tarathale knows not to stray far from the paths of her people. The Trotter of the Wanderer also knows that traveling through Mirkwood is extremely dangerous. So if you were to go from here, from Woodman Town, and just cut across over the mountains of Mirkwood, this could be quite a journey for you. But you can do that. You can go up here to the old ford, take the old forest road, and then take waterways up. But he says, she recommends you go all the way up here to the forest gate, follow the elf path, up here to the elven halls, and then straight across to Dale.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to do.
Alright.
That sounds like a good plan.
Oh, shoot.
So,
Thank you for your wisdom.
my pleasure.
No,
Also note that...
I feel remiss. You've given me something, but I've given you nothing. Is there anything that I could do for you?
Get safely on your journey. That's all I need. Guides who listen to advice get a +1 on their embarkation roll. And in a moment, I'm going to have to step off screen. So, what are you guys going to do about this elk?
I actually wanted to, now that I've done that, wanted to see if there was anyone selling short swords.
Nope. Don't you have one?
No, I have a dagger.
Well,
Is a dagger all you have?
No,
that's not right. Kamakar has a short sword. Has a sword.
I have a great bow and a dagger.
That's inconvenient.
Yes, which is why I'm trying to solve that.
Okay. I will let you buy a short sword.
How much are they?
Another elk.
No. That would be too expensive. So now I have to... my player's guide right here.
I'm willing to trade for it.
Well, you will trade me the amount of value that equals a number.
Ooh.
Where's the bloody equipment list? Here it is. Alright. 10 silver pieces worth of goods. So what do you want to trade?
I have 17 silver, so I'll just pay 10.
Okay. You need the stats on that?
+4 and a d6. Plus my dexterity.
Yep.
And it's
Finesse and
piercing.
light. Piercing, yep.
Yep.
2 pounds. All that good stuff.
Okay.
Alright.
Now, I'm concerned for Master Trotter. I haven't seen him in a while. Let's go find him.
Okay.
It's not a short
He
trip.
died.
Oh.
He got the trots.
Horrible disease.
Alright.
Now, if I know him, he's probably going to be around the marketplace. Let's go search for him there.
Oh! Trotter! How you doing?
Master Trotter,
Hello.
what have you been up to?
I have a mini quest, which is very redundant but helps people.
And what pray tell is this quest?
Okay, so we're going to go kill an elk to give to the woodcarver to make some wood handles for me to give to the axe head maker to make, who in turn will give me some axe heads to make some axes to give to the butcher of sorts to give me some meat. So we're killing an elk to get meat that's not elk.
What's wrong with just not, you have a problem eating elk?
No, it's not at all that's the problem.
Oh, or is it that you don't know how to prepare the elk?
The problem is that I made too many deals and I'm too deep.
Okay, so let's go over what we really need. We need food rations.
Uh-huh.
And what else?
Okay, we need food rations, but we also need an elk to get those food rations, but not elk rations.
Did you find anything interesting?
Oh yeah, I did. Well, so also if we kill this, if we get this elk and we give it to the woodcarver, he will also give this thing that it's basically a gift for you that you'll love it when you see it.
Well, is there anything else he'll trade other than an elk?
Overall, we'll end up with a bonus 2, like an extra 2 axe handles with no axe heads on them.
What if we trade? What if we trade jewelry for that thing?
What
Do you think he'll take jewelry for that thing that you saw?
Maybe. I mean,
Because I have jewelry.
I already shook on this deal, so we're getting an elk no matter what. I mean, you can try to get something else out of here, but I'm going to get an elk.
Okay, where was that thing that you wanted to get? Go point me in that direction.
Okay, it's in that. Is it a
Okay,
building?
I'm
or-
just gonna go
It's
over
over
there.
there.
You go over to Barland. How can I help you, missy?
What are your wares? Do you have anything special?
Well, I make wooden things. Handles, tools, bowls, plates. And right now I've just finished up this nice wolf head amulet. It's made of heartwood.
Wow, that's very beautiful. Would you take a a white jewel on a chain of silver for this amulet? A necklace for a necklace.
His eyes sparkle. He goes, yeah.
Don't worry, Trotter's my friend.
The little guy?
The little guy.
You sure he won't mind? Because I did promise to him for an elk.
I'm sure he won't mind.
I'm a man of my word. Why don't you go and get crossed? and have Trotter tell me that it's free to trade, and I will gladly trade it to him.
Trotter, get your butt over here!
Trot on over!
Can I skip over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get your little halfling skip on.
Hello.
Trotter, can you tell this man that you don't mind?
I don't mind getting an elk for him.
She wants to offer me this pretty necklace for the
Amulet.
amulet.
But see, if we get an elk, you can keep the pretty necklace.
But if we get an elk, we can keep the meat. And we won't have to do this crazy trade that you got going on.
Well,
that you got
Berlin,
caught
are
up in.
you okay with not getting an elk? Because if he makes this deal, I'm not.
This
gonna get
jewel
you
is
an
more
elk
valuable.
for it.
May I ask something? Do any of us know how to properly prepare meat so that it stores well?
I am a
No.
person of wisdom. A
Where's your
scholar.
character class?
I mean, I probably would. I'm a wanderer.
Right.
I've
Elven
probably
scholar
read a book on it.
and a warden.
Cookbook.
All of these people probably have a survival skill. Somebody.
Yeah.
If you have survival marked as one of your skills, then you are likely to know how to prep an elk.
Anybody have survival?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. There
Now,
you go.
a
Trotter.
full elk is a lot of meat for 3 people
Yeah.
to carry.
To carry.
We'll kill it, come back, sell some, and be on our way.
Well, we can't sell it. We can trade it.
Same thing.
Yeah.
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 Barter is the best system in the world because both sides always think they won.
So, I feel that it is worthwhile to go and to get this elk, if for anything,
For food.
so that Trotter can learn something.
How to do business in the world.
He may know how to prepare an elk, but he may not realize that sometimes the best way to get food is to kill it with Occam's razor.
I don't have any of those. Is that dwarven made?
It's elven made.
Oh. Occam's great elf, I understand. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
right, great.
Great philosopher.
Yeah, seems simple enough. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Pray tell, do you know where there are good places to find elk?
Well, yes, in the woods.
We're in the woods. The woods are vast and wide.
So you do understand that I'm fat and slow, and I don't hunt.
But you live here, and you may know the woods through your neighbors better than I possibly could.
I would go east, near the river.
Okay. This sounds good.
Okay. So,
We made the trade, right?
for the necklace, yes. But somehow you're going to end up apparently going after this elk regardless.
Yep.
Which you could have traded the stuck together, traded the necklace, and been done. But you wouldn't have gotten any mutton. So he's willing to take only part of the elk. He's overheard you guys talking about. He says obviously he doesn't need the whole elk for himself, so he would just deal with the haunch.
Okay.
That'll give you plenty of extra meat.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to head out, hopefully with, company,
I'm following.
What are the
east to try and find us an elk.
I do not know. I believe he would know.
amulet's power?
Yes, it's going to be +1 result on your embarkation roll. So with the advice and the lucky talisman, you'll have a +2 on your embarkation roll. Made on the journey beginning to the Eaves of Mirkwood. Beyond this place, it has no power to protect its owner. But for any journey starting from here, you have a +1 because of the hamlet. Plus, it's cool.
Fair enough.
It's got little colored stones for eyes.
That's cool.
Is it silver? No.
No, they're yellow.
Is it gold?
Amber.
Samber.
Oh.
And, sorry, +1 what?
Embarkation.
On an embarkation roll.
Embarkation.
That's EMBARKATION. The nation of bark.
Ooh.
Embarkation.
Embarkation.
Okay. So, to pick things up, who is going to do the tracking?
I could. Yeah. That's a good idea. I'm gonna track. I'm gonna be tracking.
I think it'd be good for you to
Yeah, I'm gonna track.
All right. So,
How skilled are you at tracking?
I'm very skilled at tracking.
Okay.
it is a plus number.
I have more than okay. So I'm just gonna do a survival check. Or?
Yep.
Okay.
Gotta find tracks.
Can I help him?
You don't need to. Okay, I got a 21. No, 22.
22. Why did you roll twice?
You have advantage on survival checks to track others in the wilderness.
Okay, he doesn't need my help.
Hey, no. He'll need your help for the killing part.
Probably.
Okay. So, you guys get to right where you are on the edge of the map, right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, oh no, you're off the edge of the map. So when you put yourself right on there, because when you take your first 5 foot, you're on the map. Okay. And you see across there, just on the edge of those brushes, stand that up right there. An elk. This map's 150 feet across.
Okay.
So that's 5, 10, 15, 20 in. So you're at 130 feet away. You cannot shoot the little black circles because those are trees.
Oh.
Everything that's dark green is rough terrain. Going over a fallen log is rough terrain. Going down into that ditch over there is, that looks like it's about 5, 10 feet deep. 10 feet deep at the deepest parts. So just so you know there. Plus there's the big rocks over there.
Oh. Question.
Answer.
I'm looking at this elk, and I'm trying to get an idea of if this elk gets spooked, which way is he most likely to bolt?
Okay, give me a perception check. Or survival check.
18.
Well, he's most likely to bolt straight forward.
Straightforward. Okay.
Because it'd be weird for him to have to flip a Yui.
Okay. So I would like to duck into the cover and try to stealthily make my way to cut him off.
Okay. First of all, let's roll initiative.
Makes sense.
All right, where did I put that? When I just finished printing. I stuck it on the top around. I think it must be in the. Put it back here.
Okay, initiative +2. What is my
There it is.
proficiency
So
bonus?
all
What
of
does
these
that help?
things that are filled in, the +2 is already added to them.
It's
so-
already okay.
Yeah, so it's already done for you, but so that's basically what it does.
Okay.
It
What
adds-
about this?
So that's for when we're taking a short rest, you can heal using that, or there's other things that use hit dice as well, right?
Right.
Okay, cool.
So, does anybody have initiative greater than 17?
Well, it's at 17.
Okay, at 17. What is yours?
22.
22. So Trotter is going to go first. You're at 17, and you have a +2 to your initiative, so you're going to actually go before the elk. You like my elk picture?
Oh, that's a nice little picture.
I already added the 2, so it's not like 19. It is.
But
17.
that's the distinct. You and the elk tied.
Oh, okay.
So the elk has 17, you have 17, but you have a greater modifier than the elk, so you go first.
Cool.
Now, sometimes, the official rules is that you guys, whoever ties, just decides among themselves who goes first. It's so much easier to say whoever has the highest proficiency bonus goes first. What is yours?
10.
Okay, so everybody's in the correct order. Trotter.
Do I have to start on that side of everyone?
No,
Okay,
I don't really care where you start as long as you start off the map.
that's fine. I'm gonna start here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to sneak along this rock.
Okay, so I need you to roll a stealth.
Okay. 21.
Okay.
Mm,
So right now you're just trying to beat its passive perception.
Okay.
And Karen Thiel, the lovely elf maid, what are you doing?
I'm going to follow after him.
Same round.
Yeah, same round.
Okay.
And so I roll a d20.
Yep. And for your use your stealth modifier.
Yes.
You want to give me another cough drop out of there?
21.
Wow, you both at 21. Okay.
There's some good moss over there.
You
Nice.
gonna follow?
Mouse
How
off.
much can I move?
So
many
you
spaces?
divide your speed by 5. You can move 6 spaces.
And then this is one,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Double to go through that pile of rocks you just walked over.
No,
And-
I.
Okay.
And also you can move diagonal, and it still counts as 1 square.
Okay. So.
So the really dark green is rough
2,
terrain.
3, 4, 5.
And so rough terrain also takes 2 to go.
Oh, dark green is rough. Okay, so
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
How did you get so far?
Because I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean,
You just skirted right along
I
the
just
edge.
skirted right along the edge.
Okay. Please stand up the elk. I know he's lazy.
He got tired.
So that was just your movement. You could have done a double move, or you
Oh, right. Dang it.
Double
ready
move?
in action.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
I can do 2 moves.
You can do 2 moves,
But you can't
or
attack.
you can do a move and an action. So
Oh yeah.
you didn't do anything.
I
you
know,
just
I
moved
totally
that.
forgot. That's totally on me.
And you're an experienced player.
I
Yeah.
know. It's,
Yeah, I
I've-
definitely want to move. again.
You get a choice. You
Yeah,
can move again, or you can take an action.
Oh, that's dumb.
You don't have to roll anything.
Yeah,
Your
you
stealth is already there.
Okay.
can just keep
Okay,
moving
cool.
6 more spaces. Yeah, come
1,
on.
2, 3,
I believe in
4,
milk.
5, 6.
Okay.
You're like hiding behind those rocks there.
Yes. And a tree.
Okay.
Trees.
I'm going to roll his perception, because while he's eating, he is alert to look around for things. So he's not going to rely on his passive perception.
Yes.
Well, in combat, a natural 20 is a success automatically. But this isn't a combat. This was not a to hit roll. This was a perception check. He has a +0,
Oh my gosh.
which means a 21 succeeds. He doesn't spot you guys. And he continues to eat. Now,
Okay.
Kermakar. His action was to look around. And instead of moving, he just eats.
So I'm watching him. I'm basically trying to, constantly, see exactly how spooked he is.
He's normal elk hunting season alert.
Yeah. So I'm going to go around the other way.
Oh, I should say rutting season. This
idea.
is spring.
Yeah. I'm going to try and go that way.
Okay.
Okay. This is my stealth check. (14+5)
Is 19.
19.
Yep.
19.
You didn't move when he made his check, so he couldn't spot you. So,
Yeah.
and you're higher than his passive perception.
So, let's see here. My speed is 30. I'm going to make a double move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. And is that a gully?
That's a gully. It's 5 feet down from where you're at.
5, 60.
Okay.
I'm trying to stay low. It seems like there are some logs that I'm trying to stay low.
Okay. I'm not to be spotted.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Normally I run this just theater of the mind. Sometimes it's fun to see what people do with the terrain. So, Trotter.
So it says that when I'm in my chosen regions, I get a bunch of extra bonuses. How do I know what my chosen region is?
You're in it.
Okay. Okay. Then I am going to continue sneaking up. And because of that thing I just asked, I get advantage on stealth checks as well. 19.
Okay. It's higher than his passive.
And I am going to double move this time. I'm just gonna stay here behind the log.
Okay.
And so that is 17.
Okay. Higher than the passive, so it hasn't caught on to you yet.
Awesome.
So your passive is 17. What was yours?
I got 19.
19. So I got to beat a 19, or actually I just have to beat a 17
To spot someone.
to spot somebody at this point. What was yours?
19.
19. So yeah, 17 and 19s.
Okay. So 12 spaces.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a double move and not shooting,
And
you're awfully close. By the way, you guys
Yeah,
could
yeah.
probably find a spot to shoot him at this point. Unless you're planning on getting up there and wrestling them, I don't know.
Ooh.
Attack them with your sword. I mean, you do have bows and spears.
1,
I think you're a spear person, though.
2,
Me?
3,
Her.
4. Wait. 3, 4.
Isn't it weird that the only one with a beard is the
Five.
girl?
6.
Hey, you have a direct line of
Oh
fight.
yeah, I'm going to
But did you use a double move or a single move?
one move.
Okay.
I have a short bow.
Okay.
+4.
Okay.
1d6 plus 2 piercing.
So you
You
have
roll
you
the-
roll your to hit first, or you can roll the dice 6 with it. Just save time. But you roll
this
cube.
Cube, of course. A 1.
Okay, the one of the
Fantastic.
damage is not relevant until we know what your
A 9
9 plus what?
+4.
Mm-hmm.
So 13.
13. A 13 hits. The elk is now aware of where you are.
Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't it do damage?
It does. 1 plus whatever the damage modifier is.
+2. So 3.
3 points. It shoots and hits him right in the top of the shoulder.
Eesh.
Just enough to make it angry.
Mm.
Now, is he going to run or is he going to charge? Because elk do fight back, especially if you're close enough. That was Karen Thiel. Now it's the elk's turn. So, he gets an arrow, and it's not enough to kill it, but it is just enough to make it angry. So the elk turns towards you and charges. It can move 50 feet. It has to do a double move to get over
Oh man.
the log.
Then you're fine.
So move the elk 50 feet closer.
So 5 space.
10
10
spaces.
spaces.
Yep.
Actually, you might be
1,
fine.
2,
3, 4.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then
Is
10 diagonal.
Well, it's. Can
Oh,
it
there's
touch?
a thing
Is it
there.
next to you?
10. It's next to me.
Okay, so that means it's close enough. Elk moves at least 20 feet straight towards a target. Is this able to move straight towards
It can go through the
Through the
can.
brush.
like stuff
It
without,
can go through it.
without double movement.
Was right.
Yeah, it was right here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Well, now here's the thing. It says it has to move at least 20 feet straight. So
That's
what it could do is part of that journey has to be straight.
Oh,
Right?
okay. So
Yeah.
it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 20 feet straight, and then go diagonal.
So like here, 5, 10, again straight, 5, 10, 15, 20. So it can just charge over here and then come back this way. If it's within
Okay.
50. So that's 5, 10,
That works.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. That's exactly 50. Just and charges right into you. And this is when you die.
Ooh.
Because the elk can't stand up.
Ooh.
I'm going to glue that to a base.
Yeah, I was gonna say base plate.
Good
for
idea.
All right.
It'll be fine.
Normally, nobody gets this close to the elk
Oh.
before they open fire on it. Because you guys could have shot it, as long as you could get line of sight, you could have shot from off the map
With disadvantage.
with disadvantage. I'm just saying you could
Yeah.
have. So most people just move within short range and then do it. So, +5 to hit. Which armor class? Your armor class is 13. So 13 minus 5. If I roll an 8 or higher, I hit you. 18.
Ooh.
So, it hits with a ram attack on the same turn. The target takes an extra 2 dice 6 points of damage.
Oh gosh.
And if the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 13 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Let's see if you're conscious enough to do that, because the RAM does 1d6 plus 3 plus 2d6 for the RAM. This is why you don't get close to an elk. 10, 11, 12, 13 points of damage. Are you conscious?
How many
no.
points do you have?
No.
You have
10.
10 hit points. You are gored into unconsciousness. You go wham! And you are knocked down and hit your head. And you're like, ugh! So lie turn tail down. And by the way, since this is a side quest, you may or may not die.
That's every option.
That's every option.
Whoa.
Art I generous. And my side quest, this is actually not in the module. I've always done this elk thing. Because people go on there and start doing, they want to make the barters and stuff. And the only thing I could ever think of was get an elk. All right, so.
Thanks a lot, Johnny.
No problem.
Hey, at least you wounded it. Krimakar, what are you doing? Oh, did you make a saving throw to stay up?
No,
you died. Sorry.
You didn't die. You're just
Semi-conscious.
not in a good position.
I'm gonna tell Trotter, go see to my sister. I will give you cover, and I'm going to pop up and start shooting with my great bow.
Okay.
Natural 19.
Natural hit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do some real damage now.
Max. 10 points.
All right. So, you're back there, shooting over. You're sitting there getting ready to, you're like, oh no, I gotta go save her. She's the healer.
Ooh.
And you're about to charge in when an arrow comes flying over your shoulder, right by your ear. Whiz! And
I know how he was going to move.
I'm
And
very
the
short
elk.
as well.
It's right in the throat,
Ooh.
and practically comes out the backside,
Christ.
and he oh! and falls over dead. Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah, that's the 13 hit points it had.
Oh,
Your 3 plus your 10.
nice.
All right.
Oh, I still get to move. I'm going to start moving towards the elk.
Yeah. So now that we're out of combat, we can go into all kinds of detail about trying to quarter it and carry it and do survival checks all the way back.
First thing, I'm going to make sure that she's alive.
Is alive, just unconscious.
Okay.
So, do you guys attempt to stabilize?
Yes.
I sure hope so.
So, you guys are going to work. Are either one of you trained in healing?
Do I have any
No.
open wounds?
Just from the antler holes.
How many antlers?
No, I
are
don't
there?
have any. I'm not trained in healing.
Okay. So one of you make an untrained healing check.
It's based off of wisdom.
It's based off of. Is it based off? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Based off wisdom.
I'll try. I'm familiar with elf physiology.
You know where the third heart is.
Yeah. 8.
Ooh. Way to stabilize it.
Okay. The turning around the neck isn't going to help.
Oh.
Guess
So
what?
you weren't successful at stabilizing.
Can I have him stop cutting off circulation to everything and
You gonna
try
do a check?
and try and do it myself?
Okay.
17.
Okay. You actually stabilized. You are stabilized. You're not conscious. I will give you one roll to see if you become conscious.
Okay.
All you have to do is roll a 20.
A natural 20.
Okay, we believe. Oh.
I got 3.
Good news is, normally that would be a failure, but you're already stabilized. You just don't gain consciousness. So, I'm assuming you guys create a kind of a sled,
Out of the elk.
Oof.
and you put the elk on the sled after you've gutted it,
Uh-huh.
so it weighs significantly less.
Mm-hmm. I also push my arrow through and pull it out so I can save my arrow.
Sure.
You can have mine too.
It's a present.
I take your arrow, I put it in your quiver.
Still dripping with blood. Then they tie you to the elk and then drag your body to there. Where you meet the town healer.
She wants to go get a bear now.
That's just unbearable.
I'll heal Carinthiel if you get a bear.
Like, okay, one sec.
It's like, I'm sorry, you're not worth a beer.
All right.
We'll just befriend a bear and have them.
This is a good place to put a 10 minutes, or can we do a 5-minute break?
I think we can do a 5, unless you need more.
Okay, 5-minute break, and then we'll get started.
Okay, I've learned my lesson.
Don't fight elk up front, up
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
They move quickly.
Oh.
Are we
Yeah,
gonna
now if you'd only
stop
stay,
the stream?
Yeah.
start the stream, restart it. Just
Well,
a
do we
minute.
keep streaming? We stopped recording, right?
Yeah, we stopped the recording and we switched to